and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liz. I'm a science of mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. Today, Liss and I are going to talk just a little bit about this concept of ego and what is ego a little bit. And when we talk about that, we can't help but talk about ego death. This is a term that a lot of spiritual leaders like to use. This is a term I have read many, many times in books. This is a term a lot of people have used in a lot of ways. And it's always something that's made me instantly kind of shift in my chair just a little bit, because it's got a punch to it. So, let's just talk a little bit about what ego is. Exactly. What is this ego thing? And I think it probably depends who you ask. If you ask a psychologist or a psychiatrist what an ego is, they might have a completely different interpretation of what it is than somebody who is a little more spiritually minded, perhaps. I personally interchange ego and our personal self a little bit versus our spiritual self. So, just like we have a physical body and we have a mental body and we have an emotional body and we have a spiritual body, we somewhat have a spiritual self and a personal self. And the ego wrapped up in the personal self is really, in my opinion, we'll see what Liz has to say, in my opinion, is what makes us who we are. If we're silly or playful or intellectual or really dry or whatever, it's those little intricacies that make us our unique individual personal self. And the ego and the personal self are also protective in a way. It keeps us from harm and keeps us in a little bit of, I don't want to say protective mode, but it does keep us aware. But like a lot of the topics that we talk here in this connection time is aspects that might be helpful and aspects that might not be so helpful. So there are many times when we see ourselves behaving in ways that might not cast us in the best light, or behaving in ways that completely embarrass us and we kind of face plant in life. That's, it's part of life. It's part of being a human, tripping over ourselves until we don't do that anymore. And like we've talked about in other recordings, we talk about awareness. When we start being more aware of how we behave and how we might be getting in our way of how we want to represent ourselves, I think that's when people start talking about ego death, when really, in my opinion, it's simply transformation. We're evaluating and observing our behaviors, and we get to choose which ones work for us and which ones we'd rather just shed. And I really need to work on not doing that anymore. I don't want to face plant anymore. I'm going to work on not doing that anymore. So it's really growth and transformation. It doesn't necessarily mean part of my personal self needs a funeral. It doesn't mean part of my ego is gone, is it, you know, it's dead. That's got a lot of weight to it. So what I would do is strongly encourage people to start looking at, okay, I'll just say it, the process of awakening as a transformation, not so much as your old you is dead and now this new version of you is reborn. It's simply transforming and growing. I mean, we're meant to grow, right? We're not planted in one place and we never move and there's no growth and we just stay the same way that we are all of the time. We're meant to grow and we're meant to transform. And when we allow that process, that's really all it is growth and transformation. And that's one thing that I would encourage is maybe let's not label it ego death anymore. We'll just label it personal transformation.
Lori, there's so much I could say about this topic.
Please
I might
do.
just speak for the rest of our time. Oh, my word. We are not meant to discard the ego. We are not designed to desire its elimination.
Yeah.
And when we do, it is poison to our body. Because our physical body is one part of the Trinity that is our ego. Without an ego, we do not have a physical body to have this life in.
Right.
Our body is our ego. We cannot desire to destroy that and have life force at our center, or vitality in our veins, or wellness as a font in our hearts. Am I my body? No. I'm the spirit who dwells within. But could the spirit be dwelling within and experiencing this incarnation with body? No. So I shouldn't desire its destruction. I should love and value and appreciate it. The other aspect of the Trinity that is our ego is our autonomic nervous system.
Yeah.
All the functions that happen for us without needing our conscious involvement. Breathing, blinking, our hearts beating. The instinctive responses that protect us. Those protector parts. That's ego. And it comes from love. It comes from the love of life itself, trying to keep us alive in this egoic incarnation. And the last aspect of the ego is the very last aspect that we should try to destroy because it needs our love the most. And that is the wounded inner child. So to understand this concept of desiring ego death as literally being, I would like to switch off the systems that keep me alive. I would like to destroy this physical body. And I would like to bash and eliminate my wounded inner baby.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Fabulous. Really, really highly spiritual belief system going there. Great. Yeah. So what's the alternative then? Because like you said, it is all about transformation. It is all about growth. And it is all about healing. But it's not about discarding anything, Lori.
Right.
If you can think about any character trait as existing on the outside of a sphere, any character trait is there, and its shadow aspect is on the inside of that ring. So where we are placing our attention is either on the shadow aspect of a trait or on its evolved and enlightened aspect. We don't eliminate anything at all. We just recognize that we are in the shadow expression of a trait, and then we bring the light to it, which is what enlightenment is, so that we can express its positive, light, loving, life-giving side. So stubbornness, for example, is very often considered a negative egoic trait. It's not really. Stubbornness is just the shadow state of a really strong will. And an empowered will is one of the most amazing things we can exercise. So we can be narrow-minded and without the light and stubborn, or we can know who we are, what we want, and exercise our will. There's no killing of anything in that process.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to be rejected or discarded or judged.
Yeah.
Nothing. We come in with a shadow trait activated because our soul has chosen to grow into the light expression of that same trait. Everything about the ego is a gift. Everything. Every wound that the inner child has is because the divine child wishes to express it through that wounded healing. Every condition that the physical body has is a messenger about a lack of love. And the more love that our soul wishes for us to embody. So the ego, the egoic existence, this incarnation, this life, is what the soul has chosen for its own growth. It's all life. It's all love. No death required. No death required.
Oh, I think we should title this one "No Death Required." But it's true. I think that's the message that we really need to deliver, is that it is not at all about that. It is actually quite the opposite. It's all about bringing more life to, and bringing more awareness to, and bringing more love to.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And all of our gifts, our talents, our abilities, our unique little light also shines through the ego.
Yeah.
Like you say, that personal self that makes you who you are, that's also the ego.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be this expression of Melissa forever. But in this incarnation, Melissa is sparkly and bubbly and sunshine and positive, and she can be really, really intense sometimes. But the heart of the love that I am,
Yeah.
the good that I do, and the light that I shine, that will live forever. But it's going to express itself in future through a different egoic incarnation. I only get to be this version of Melissa once. And everything that is of the light about me will be added to my soul complex for my next life. Nothing is rejected. Nothing is discarded. Everything is just brought to light to become more love. That's it. That's what we're here to do. It makes me excited.
So let's give some direct examples if this is a little elusive to people. Or if people are really deeply ingrained in some spiritual teachings that have taught this way for many, many years, and now we're presenting a completely different offering. How can we bridge that gap a little bit? And how can we help people understand a little bit more aspects of our personal self that we might not enjoy? What are some of the opposites of that? And like I said, simultaneously, if we have been devoting a lot of time to shedding the self that we don't want, how can we shift that perspective a bit and let go of that heavy word and usher in the transformation words, the growth words?
I don't know, Lori, I always give examples based with actual examples.
Right.
So the one that's coming to mind now, which is considered a negative ego trait that a lot of people not only feel judged because of, but judge themselves for having, is the trait of jealousy.
Okay.
Particularly romantic jealousy in personal relationships.
Okay.
It's been considered the green monster, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That somehow you are defective enough to be labeled a monster
Yeah.
if you have the character trait of jealousy. So going about it from my point of view, where we would look at jealousy as merely the shadow expression of something that is actually a light and loving and beautiful character trait. The question is, what would that be? What would jealousy's enlightened state be? And the answer to that is profound loyalty. So when someone is expressing jealousy, it is a lack of belief in themselves. It is a fear and insecurity of somehow not being good enough. That it is expressing itself as an externalization that makes the other wrong.
Yeah.
In order for the self to feel somewhat safe. Because the truth is, the inclination of the self is to be profoundly loyal. And in a world that very often isn't, that can feel scary if we don't know how to love ourselves. So it's not that we must get rid of, somehow overcome, or eradicate jealousy. No. We need to be brave enough to step into and own and identify with the fact that we are profoundly loyal people.
Yeah.
The shadow of jealousy dissipates all by itself the moment we do that. When we truly own that we are profoundly loyal people, and we're not afraid of that anymore. We no longer believe that other people's betrayal can utterly destroy us.
Yeah.
And we choose to remain the profoundly loyal people we are, in spite of others' actions. Jealousy melts. Jealousy disappears under the noonday sun that is our ownership of our loyalty. And then we shine. We shine in the light of identifying with that. So that's one example. I'm not sure if it's a good one,
Oh,
but
it's a
that's the way that
fantastic
I understand
example.
the process based.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
That's a great example. And what I think was really beautiful in there was how you remind that when we do look at these things, they just heal themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the monster in the closet. When you open up the closet and turn on the light, there's no monster.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about people who have been working really hard for years and years and years on getting this ego to just die already? How can we help them shift gears a little bit? How can we help them? And perhaps we already have, and there's really no question to answer here, but I can really relate to being taught something for many, many years, and then someone comes along and says, well, why are you doing that? How could you possibly feel love and life and vitality and health if you keep trying to kill part of yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
That can be a big shift.
Lori, for me, it's equally as easy to cure when you look at it from the perspective of how stressful has that not been?
Yeah.
To literally suppress something that's intrinsic to your nature that wants to express itself.
Yeah.
How stressful has it been to keep that suppressed, white knuckle through that natural inclination to react that way?
Yeah.
Judge yourself for it. Talk about the weight of the world.
Yes.
It's so contracting.
Yes.
No wonder you're always angry. No wonder you're always unhappy. No wonder you don't feel well. So how about we just stop doing that? How about we just take a really deep breath and go, and let it go. Just stop trying to hold the beach ball under. Stop trying to carry the weight of the world. Unclench your fists. Relax your jaw and breathe. It's okay. It's all okay. You're beautiful. You always were. You will never not be. So you might have expressed a shadow for a little while. That's okay. We all do. But let's step into the light now. Because it's literally as easy as that. Step into the light of love, where everything about you is okay. And as long as we are not doing something that our conscious condemns in real time, and then we do it anyway, again, that comes down to what's at your core.
Yeah.
Are your intentions love? We don't necessarily flesh that out perfectly, and that's all right. But if we are coming from that high-hearted intention, then we're stepping into the light more and more, and we will fall on our faces less and less, I think.
Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.